Now, am I saying that something's going to happen on the 20th? No, I don't know. And according to how this could be packaged, it doesn't have to happen on the 20th. It just has to happen eventually. He's already fulfilling the part of walking through a city half in ruins and praying for the corpses that he meets along the way. All right. Now, this prophecy by itself, you could say, yeah, I'm blowing things out of proportion. But when we hold it up against another famous prophecy in the Catholic Church, which is the prophecy of the popes, and it's attributed to Saint Malachy, and you can find this also on Wikipedia. It's there as well. This Saint Malachy had developed a list of 112 popes, and these would be the last popes. The 112th is to be the last pope. So if we look at this, we find, once again, this is a little hair-raising, that the 110th pope on his list was John Paul II, and the 111th is Benedict XVI. And most interestingly, what we find out when we look at the 112th pope is that this is the last pope. This is supposed to be the pope at the end of time who's going to oversee the Great Tribulation. A pope known as Petrus Romanus. And if we look on the Wikipedia page, it says, "In extreme persecution, the seat of the Holy Roman Church will be occupied by Peter the Roman, who will feed the sheep through many tribulations. When they are over, the city of 7 hills will be destroyed, and the terrible or fearsome judge will judge his people." The end. Now, if you look on the page, it'll tell you that it's disputed whether or not this was in the original draft. But that doesn't matter, does it? Because we're not talking about real prophecies here. We're talking about the public being set up for a global war for domination. And the only way we can motivate people, enough, is through religion. And if we can fool the people through religion and make them believe that this is the end of time, that this has all been foretold, that we're playing a part in something great, and something greater than ourselves, they can pull this off. This can be done. And if you look at any psychological study of events such as the Inquisition, you'll find that you can get people to do some pretty horrible things. You can get people to do pretty horrible things, but they will eventually come to a point where they can't take it anymore, where their conscience will weigh on them. And this is true even of many of the Nazis, who couldn't carry out things themselves. They ordered others to do it, or that suffered severe psychological damage because of what they did. But when you look at religious persecution, you see something very different. If people believe that what they are doing is actually for your betterment, they're actually trying to save your soul, their evil knows no bounds. They will do anything because they believe that what they are doing is good and that it is sanctioned by God and that it must be done. So I think in the end that this is what the elite have planned. What I also find interesting is if you look at the date when the Pope is supposed to visit Ground Zero, it's April 20th, which also happens to be Hitler's birthday. And a lot of people say that the elites they're occultists and they have an infatuation with numerology and numbers and whatnot, and that may be true. And if you believe that's true, then the stars really are lining up for something big. Let me say as a caveat here that I do not believe in astrology, nor do I believe in numerology. I believe that they are superstitions for the weak-minded. But do I believe that the elite believe in these things? Well, I think that we've seen that over and over again with societies such as the Freemasons or other secret societies that seem to have an infatuation with astrology and the occult. All right, if we look at Ronald Reagan, this stuttering moron couldn't even make it out of bed without his astrologer telling him what to do. If we look at Nelson Mandela, he couldn't go to the bathroom without his shaman coming in and rolling bones and telling him whether or not it was okay. If we look at Tony Blair, there are reports that he draws a circle on the floor and flops around in the middle of it in the morning with his wife. So just because you don't believe in this or I don't believe in this doesn't mean that there are other people that are important that don't believe in it. I mean, the elite have proved over and over that they believe in these things and signs in the stars and whatnot. So if we go to about.com and we look under astrology on the astrology homepage, and we go past the story about Nicolas Cage and down to the bottom where they start talking about China and Tibet, and it's interesting what they say. All right, and once again, I want to stress that I do not believe that astrology or the planets have anything to do with anything, but there are people that do. And it says, distorted Mars means violence, and Pluto opposite Mars means violence around precisely those issues that have been suppressed by the powers that be. Then came the explosive full moon on the equinox that made the Mars-Pluto opposition a grand cross, the most stressful aspect in astrology, signaling that the next 3 months are going to be about flinging into the open all manner of domination-submission scenarios, unsavory on the personal level, downright genocidal on the geopolitical level.